For the first time ever, the WWE gave Germany the premium live event experience they deserved, delivering one of the best B-show PLEs of the year. Bash in Berlin went down in the capital of Germany, and the crowd was absolutely insane for each match, chanting away and showing their support for the good guys. Of course, they had plenty to cheer for, as the WWE delivered an excellent card with 5 action-packed matches, including 3 championship titles on the line. On the night before the big event, Berlin got SmackDown in what seems to be the WWE's attempt to add something extra to the crowd attending the PLE the next day. On the subject of having 5 matches on a PLE card, I'm starting to warm up to the idea after watching Bash in Berlin and seeing how things turned out in each match. With plenty to discuss, let's dive into the Bash in Berlin results, who walked out of Germany as a winner, and what I thought about each match. Opening up the night in Berlin, Cody Rhodes defended his undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens in a friend versus friend showdown. I'm kinda digging the concept of starting off a big PLE held in Europe with a major title match as its opener, and this is the second time since Clash at the Castle that we see Cody Rhodes in this role. Heading into the contest, all eyes were on Kevin Owens and whether he revert to his prizefighter days and go full heel, and there were definitely signs of it throughout the match. Owens and Rhodes were exchanging blows early on, which sparked a heated stare down between the two, with Owens looking visibly pissed off. I was thrilled we saw a back and forth match between two guys that fans love to cheer for, and we got several dual chants of Kevin Owens, "Let's go Rhodes," to add to the drama. On the false finishes, I know that some don't like the multiple kickouts, but this match was a great fit for them, and it had just the right amount. Rhodes kicked out of 2 stunners, and Owens even countered the third crossroads of the trio attempt into a stunner, dictating the perfect story that these two knew each other very well. Where the story took center stage was towards the end of the match, when Rhodes knee buckled on an attempt to climb the top rope, which led to Owens being faced with a dilemma. We saw the prizefighter Owens, even for just a moment, as his instinct had him going for a kick to the knee of Rhodes before he snapped out of it and allowed the referee to check on Cody. Owens also went for an apron powerbomb before rejecting the idea. This ultimately led to his downfall, and you have to wonder whether this further prompts Owens to turn heel after having those good intentions resulted in him coming up shorthanded. Rhodes did embrace Owens after, and all things look good between the two, but you never know. I'm gonna give this match 2 thumbs up, as the pace was amazing, the crowd was white hot, and we got a finish that, while predictable, still had me sitting at the edge of my seat. My only concern now is what the result means for both men. Rhodes appears to be heading to Bad Blood to take on Solo Sikoa, who called next on the winner of this match, and Owens may be caught in limbo and in search of another opponent. Do you think Owens will eventually turn heel down the line? And if so, who do you think he targets first? The second match of the night featured Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Unholy Union, defending the women's tag team titles against the team of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who I believe still doesn't have a team name despite already holding the tag titles on one occasion prior to this match. Heading into this one, I was really on the fence of who I thought was going to win. On one hand, having the Unholy Union retain would set them up for a good while with some prestige added to their reign, as a victory over Belair and Cargill would feel impressive and justified. Then again, Belair and Cargill don't seem to be heading down the path of butting heads and breaking up the team to go one-on-one, so a second tag team title run would feel right, especially when you consider they'd be taking back the championships they never really lost. I do think the Unholy Union deserves some credit for the run, and I'm of the belief that they will be big-time players in the division in 2025 and beyond. Unfortunately, their reign as champions ends on day 77 as Belair and Cargill recapture the tag team titles in what I'm calling the lowest point of the night in terms of action, and honestly, it's not so much that these 4 women did anything wrong, but more pays tribute to the fact that this show had such strong performances that it's sad to default them to the bottom. In reality, all 4 had great spots to shine and show off their skills, and Unholy Union had excellent control of the match for the most part, isolating Belair and utilizing their teamwork to dictate the pace. The setup for the hot tag to Cargill, who ran shop on both Fire and Dawn, and the finish was well structured. If I had to nitpick one thing, I'd say that the team finisher of Belair and Cargill either needs some work or they should go back to them using their singles finishers at the same time. What they have going on now feels a bit slow paced and takes some time to set up, which is a drastic change of pace from what leads up to the move. It's really the only minor thing I'd tweak, but otherwise the match did well for both teams, and perhaps this isn't the last we see of the Unholy Union at the top of the division. I'm going to give this a single thumb up, but add a round of applause as well to the future of the tag team division, as there is plenty to look forward to for the remainder of the year. The middle spot of the card belonged to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre going one-on-one in a strap match, and what more really needs to be said here? From the get-go, it was clear that these two weren't going to get much wrestling done, and the strap gets in the way of traditional setups, so that went right out the window early on. McIntyre beat the hell out of Punk with the strap early on, forcing a bit of a delay for the start of the match, as neither of the men had the strap secured around their wrist. Once we eventually did get the bell rang and the match started, Punk already had visible welts on his back. What I loved about this match most is how much usage the two got out of the strap itself, himself, whether it was using it as a whip or pulling the other into the ring apron or the post to inflict more damage. I thought it was appropriately used at every turn. I loved the table spot as I thought the timing was great, and we got some extra mayhem included in there. And Punk had a bit of color added to his face, though rewatching this back, I'm still not sure at what moment that happened. Perhaps my favorite spot of the match, and maybe even of the night, was when McIntyre was in the process of hitting the 4 ring posts with Punk strapped to his side, unbeknownst to him that Punk was also tapping the ring post to tie things up. I thought that was some great thinking on Punk's part, and I got a good laugh out of it. What I think the finish does so beautifully is that it ties the conflict of the stolen bracelet into the match, and brings out the controlled frustration out of Punk, who eventually hit multiple go-to-sleeps on Drew, tapping one of the 4 posts each time. I love the idea of having Punk reclaim the bracelet and putting it on his wrist before hitting the final post, as it brought an end to both the match and the conflict of the bracelet all at once. Post-match, Punk did say he's done with Drew and is aiming for the World Heavyweight Championship, but I'm not sure if that's where we're heading just yet. With both men now holding a win over the other, we need that third and final match to break up the tie and determine the true winner of the story. I think Bad Blood is the perfect finish line for these two, and adding a stipulation like Hell in a Cell just feels so damn good of an opportunity that it would be a shame to pass up on it. No bracelet included this time, just 2 men inside a steel entrapment and plenty of violence to conclude the feud. 2 thumbs up for this performance, and I'm so happy to see Punk pick up his first WWE win in over 10.5 years. The 4th match went to Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest taking on the team of Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio in what I'm calling right now as the match of the night, and it's not really close. Not only did we get some fantastic work between the 2 teams throughout this match, but Dom Mysterio gave quite possibly his best performance in a WWE ring during this match. We got plenty of back and forth between Dirty Dom and Damian Priest, going from the big man chasing the cowardly heel to some excellent pacing as Dominik Mysterio took over for a brief while. The bit of action we got between Rhea and Liv was well done, as Rhea dominated early on before Liv got some action in, and pulled out a few moves I haven't seen from her until now. I did expect the Judgment Day to get involved in this one, but if I'm being honest, the extent to which they did intervene delivered really well, as there were a few points in the match that I started to question if Damian and Rhea would end up winning. I'm also going to say it now, Rhea ragdolling Dominik Mysterio with a few clotheslines was one of the highlights of this match, and all that was really missing was a riptide to get the crowd really popping. Instead, we got one of the cooler spots of any match, with Rhea and Damian hitting a razor's edge on Liv and Dom at the same time. I'm a sucker for anything Razor Ramon, and this was just such a fantastic spot late into the match. If you go back and rewatch it sometime, you'll notice they nearly stuck the landing at the same time. It was so close, and it definitely got me to pop. I think the right team won, as Damian and Rhea are both coming off losses at SummerSlam, and having them lose in consecutive PLEs wasn't the direction I thought they'd go, especially if you want to reinsert Rhea into the Women's World Heavyweight Championship picture. This now sets up that possibility, while Damian can set his sights on Finn Balor, which I believe is the big picture match that they've been setting up for quite some time now. I'm going to give this match a 2 thumbs up as well, and the fallout we're going to see from this match will feed generations come Bad Blood. Trust me. The main event, to the surprise of nobody, was Randy Orton challenging Gunther for the Men's World Heavyweight Championship. Though he was born in Austria, Gunther is a huge fan favorite in Germany, and he won the crowd over by addressing them in German during his press tour, and played up to the cheers during his entrance. Before we could even ring the bell, fans were already explosive, and we got a Ludwig Kaiser appearance to announce Gunther as the champion in the pre-match ceremony, which I thought was so fitting and well done. As for the match, it's amazing to me just how well Gunther can work with any style of wrestler, and Randy Orton continues to put on a masterclass in the ring whenever he gets the chance to shine in a big match appearance. Where this one kinda gets a bit lost in limbo is when you realize that there is no real bad guy in this match, when you factor in the German crowd. Yes, Gunther is your traditional heel that will get booed in almost every arena, but in Germany he's a hero. Yet, at the same time, fans aren't going to boo Orton either, so we now have 2 wrestlers getting cheered, attempting to put on a match without losing the structure. And honestly, it just works here. Orton looked great when taking over the match, and we saw some fun spots between the two, including the German announce team losing their table from a back body drop off the steel steps. The ending to this match was absolutely brutal as well, as Orton took a vicious chop to the back of the neck before being put in a sleeper hold, and there was a brief moment when it looked like he was going to escape, only for Gunther to slip the hold back on. I actually do like the Gunther sleeper hold as a finish for the match, as it looks believable to see a guy like Gunther using his strength to choke out his opponent. The aftermatch does raise a bit of an eyebrow to me, as Gunther extended his hand to Orton, and Orton accepted the handshake in a sign of respect. Perhaps this is playing to the German crowd, but it did feel a bit out of character for both men to engage in the handshake. Maybe it means something more further down the line, but for now, the loss means Orton goes back to SmackDown, while Gunther continues his reign as champion on Raw. I'm also going to give this match a 2 thumbs up, as the story going throughout the match was just a bundle of fun to watch, and both Gunther and Orton gave a solid performance worthy of a main event in Germany. Great stuff by both guys. And with that, the Bash in Berlin PLE drew to a close and was a wonderful show from start to finish. Honestly, when the night was over, I didn't feel like 3 hours had just passed by. Now, with Bad Blood set for early October, we have some big questions heading our way. Cody Rhodes and Gunther will both be on a path to seek a new challenger, and we're nowhere near done with the Judgment Day's issues with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. We also have both men's tag team titles and also the United States and Intercontinental titles awaiting their time to shine on a PLE stage after their absence in Berlin. So will we see them get a spot on the Bad Blood card? With a PLE name like that, one would have to expect we're about to get some great storylines heading our way, and possibly the conclusion of a few as well. So that does it for me for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the show, and whether you enjoyed it or felt it was lacking something. I'll be sure to read and respond to every comment, as I always do. Remember to like this video if you enjoy this type of content, and if you really like it, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell symbol to get every update that goes up on this channel. A huge shout out to you all as well for making my last video such a success. Words can't describe how much I appreciate you all, and I look forward to continuing the growth of this channel and putting out content you all look forward to. With that said, remember to be kind to one another and stay safe.